Emily, a visual designer here at Rogers Gardens, and I'm going to show you how to build a tablescape with a coastal vibe. So my inspiration is actually from shells. Now shells have a lot of different color and texture to it. Typically when you think of coastal inspiration on decorating, you think more blues and aquas stemming off from the ocean. But I really wanted to take color inspiration from the shells itself. So first, I either like to start with a tablecloth or even a throw blanket over your table, or sometimes just use the table itself. This one's a really beautiful gray driftwood. But just to kind of brighten things up, I like this tablecloth. It has a white, bright background, but it has a lot of pattern to it that kind of is a little reminiscent of shell. I think this could be a really beautiful first layer on your table. If you have a rectangle table, I tend to like doing tablecloths at an angle, and then you can still showcase a little bit of your table itself. As much as I love the tablecloth, I also wanted to show a different way of not using the tablecloth, so you can just go ahead and start with your beautiful placemat and then start building your table. So if you wanted to add a little bit more of a sea life element to your table, the pencil urchin is probably one of my favorites. You can always put it at each place setting, and what I like is to add a place card on it. You can actually kind of stick that on there, and then you can put it right at each table setting. One more thing you can do to add the sea life element to your table is maybe a grouping of barnacles. You can always add little votive holders that also have barnacles on it. I really like using battery operated tea lights, because then you don't have to worry about open flames. For plant ideas, you can either just take cuttings from your own garden. I really love kind of soft roses. The white is really beautiful to use. It's just really neutral, and I have it actually in that same glass candle holder that has that shell motif. I really like how low they are. Little satellites like this are really perfect for a large table so people can see above it at each other. These containers are really beautiful, light and airy, just the clear glass with that really thin gold trim. This is a salvia that has a little bit of that purple, and then these are blooms from an echeveria succulent, which I really think is just interesting. It also kind of picks up that barnacle kind of texture, and so if you kind of add something like that, it really does pick up the same look. If you're using a container that's tall, I suggest kind of putting it a little bit in between where people are sitting so that they don't have to struggle to talk to each other. Another thing that I think could be really interesting, instead of using fresh cut florals, you can always pot in any kind of container that goes with your table setting succulents. There's a lot of succulents that really are reminiscent of coral or sea life. This one I love especially. This is string of dolphin, and the little buds actually look like dolphin shapes. It's really sweet. But you can also bring up a lot of color with succulents, a lot of texture that I think are really interesting. It could be a good conversation starter, and you can always keep them in pots on your table, or you can plant them in your yard afterward. Another really easy thing to do is just have an arrangement that's already built up. This one has succulents with the really cool echeveria bloom sticking out of it. It has that nice little pop of purple. This is something that you can have on your table all the time, or you can always put it outside as is. And then I like to add both kinds, really, the barnacle votive holders and even the glass votive holders, just to kind of bring some ambiance to the table.
I hope these tips inspired you to celebrate the coastal inspiration and bring it to your own table. This is a great way to gussy up your table, especially when you're spending time at home. I hope to see you at Rogers Gardens.